Hello, darling.
She
I'm
really
sorry.
did.
I had to tell the truth. I cannot tell a lie.
When supermodel Iman met David Bowie, it wasn't just love, it was magic. A blind date sparked a 24-year romance that blended Bowie's artistic genius with Iman's timeless elegance, making them an iconic power couple. Even after Bowie's passing in 2016, Iman kept his legacy alive, honoring their unbreakable bond. Now their daughter shines, a perfect mix of both parents carrying their spirit forward. Join us as we dive into their epic love story, their lasting legacy, and how their daughter is continuing the Bowie-Iman magic. Iman's strong roots. Born Zahra Mohammed Abdul-Majid in Mogadishu, Somalia, Iman grew up in a Muslim household, carrying a name that meant faith in Arabic. Her grandfather believed this strong name would bring her success, and he was right. As the first girl born in 6 generations, she held a special place in her family's history. Her father, a Somali diplomat, and her mother, a gynecologist, set high expectations for their children. With 2 brothers and 2 sisters, Iman was raised in a household of ambition and intellect, shaping her future as a trailblazer. At age 4, she left home for boarding school in Egypt, spending her childhood there, but political unrest later forced her family back to Mogadishu, setting the stage for the next chapter of her journey. Iman's big breakthrough. After her family relocated to Kenya, Iman pursued political science at the University of Nairobi. But fate had other plans. One day, American photographer Peter Beard spotted her, mesmerized by her striking features, long neck, and radiant skin. He urged her to try modeling, a suggestion that changed her life forever. She soon moved to the U.S., and by 1976, she had already landed a Vogue cover. Her unique elegance made her an instant favorite, working with icons like Versace, Calvin Klein, Halston, and Donna Karan. Even Yves Saint Laurent, who called her his dream woman, was captivated. More than just a model, Iman became a muse, influencing collections and redefining beauty standards. Today, still represented by Test Management in London, she remains an enduring symbol of elegance, strength, and cultural pride. David Bowie's evolution. Born David Robert Jones in 1947, David Bowie was destined to be more than just a musician. He was a revolution, but success didn't come easy. Despite his early passion for art, music, and design, his first singles flopped, and his 1967 debut album went largely unnoticed. Then, in 1969, everything changed with Space Oddity, his first real hit, marking the beginning of an extraordinary career. Never one to stay the same, Bowie reinvented himself in 1972 with Ziggy Stardust, an androgynous, otherworldly persona that captivated fans. With hits like Starman, Ziggy became a cultural phenomenon, cementing Bowie as a fearless innovator. But Bowie was never meant to stay in one place for long. By 1975, he flipped the script again, introducing Plastic Soul, a sound influenced by American R&B. While UK fans were puzzled, fame and young Americans catapulted him to US stardom, proving that Bowie wasn't just a musician, he was a shapeshifter, always one step ahead of the world. Bowie's fearless reinvention. In 1976, Bowie took a leap into both music and film, starring in The Man Who Fell to Earth while releasing Station to Station, an album that introduced a darker, more experimental sound. The late 70s saw him push even further with the Berlin trilogy, Low, Heroes, Lodger, crafted alongside Brian Eno. Tracks like Heroes earned critical acclaim, proving Bowie wasn't just evolving, he was redefining music itself. By the 1980s, Bowie had become a global superstar. Let's Dance, 1983, turned him into a commercial powerhouse, while the hit Ashes to Ashes showcased his ever-changing artistry. He experimented with Tin Machine in the late 80s before returning to solo work, diving into electronic and industrial sounds in the 90s and 2000s. Meanwhile, his acting career flourished with iconic roles like Jareth the Goblin King in Labyrinth and Nikola Tesla in The Prestige. Selling over 100 million records, Bowie became one of the best-selling musicians of all time, earning 6 Grammys and a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction in 1996. Even after his passing, his legacy thrives, so much so that in 2022, he was named the best-selling vinyl artist of the 21st century, proving that Bowie's magic is timeless. The Untold Love Story. By the late 1980s, David Bowie had conquered the world. A global superstar, a master of reinvention, and a legend in music, he seemed to have it all. But behind the glamour, Bowie felt a deep loneliness. His longtime friend and hairdresser, Teddy Antolin, later revealed, David was very lonely. It was so sad, all this hard work, and then he was alone. Despite his millions of fans, Bowie longed for someone who would see David the man, not Bowie the rock god. That's when fate and a little matchmaking stepped in. One night at a Los Angeles party, Teddy met Iman, the stunning supermodel and philanthropist, and immediately thought of Bowie. Iman was more than just a beauty. She was intelligent, elegant, and radiated a quiet strength. Teddy knew she was exactly the kind of woman Bowie had been searching for. But there was one problem. Bowie was in New York. Iman was in LA. Getting them in the same room wouldn't be easy. Determined to make it happen, Teddy devised a plan. He invited both to his birthday dinner in LA, making sure neither knew the other would be there. As the evening unfolded, destiny took over. What began as a chance meeting would soon turn into something neither of them could have predicted. A love story for the ages. Love at first sight. The night they met, David Bowie arrived in style, behind the wheel of a white Mustang, dressed head to toe in white denim. Moments later, Iman stepped out of a black Mercedes, draped in black leather, exuding pure elegance. The contrast was striking, like something out of a movie. As Teddy Antolin described it, the air crackled with electricity. The moment their eyes met, the energy in the room shifted. Bowie was locked in, captivated. The night unfolded like a dream. Bowie and Iman talked endlessly, as if they had known each other forever. For Bowie, it was instant love. He was convinced that Iman was the one, but for Iman, it took time. Though drawn to his charm and magnetic personality, she was cautious. In a 2021 interview, she laughed. David said it was love at first sight. It took me a few months, but I got there. She felt something profound, but she wasn't one to rush. Bowie, however, wasn't a man who gave up easily. He saw something rare in Iman and made it his mission to win her heart. And in true Bowie fashion, his pursuit was nothing short of enchanting. But just as things were beginning, Iman left for Paris to walk in a fashion show, leaving Bowie with only one option: prove that he was worth the wait. A love worth the chase. Distance meant nothing to David Bowie. If anything, it only fueled his determination. While Iman was away in Paris, Bowie set out to properly woo her. He sent flowers to her hotel room, each bouquet a quiet declaration of his feelings. And when she finally returned, he was there, waiting at the airport. It wasn't a grand rock star-style gesture. It was thoughtful, patient, and deeply romantic. In her own words, he properly wooed me. For Iman, this was the moment everything shifted. Bowie had shown her he wasn't just a legendary musician. He was a man ready for real love. His quiet persistence, his unwavering devotion. It was clear this wasn't a fleeting romance. He wasn't chasing the thrill, he was chasing forever. By 2000, Bowie reflected on their love with absolute certainty. She would be my wife. In my head, it was a done deal. I'd never gone after anything in my life with such passion. I just knew she was the one. And for Iman, it was undeniable. Bowie had won her heart, not with fame, but with love. 2 proposals. Their romance moved quickly, but David Bowie was all in. He proposed to Iman early in their relationship, but to his surprise, she didn't say yes immediately. When her friend Teddy Antolin asked about it, she admitted, "He's asked." I said no. It wasn't a rejection of love, but a matter of family and tradition. Iman needed Bowie to understand that marrying her meant embracing her entire tribe, not just her. Bowie, ever the gentleman, didn't push. Instead, he took the time to honor her values, showing that his love wasn't just passionate, it was deeply respectful. When the time was right, he proposed again, this time making it unforgettable. On a romantic trip to the Adriatic Sea, Bowie took Iman out on his yacht in the Bozer Strait and asked her to be his wife once more. This time, she said yes. To mark the moment, Bowie gifted her a 15-carat star sapphire ring, a rare gem he had spent months tracking down just for her. But it didn't stop there. They also chose a 14-carat yellow canary diamond ring together, symbolizing their shared love for beauty and meaning. For Bowie, perfection was in the details. For Iman, it was proof that he truly understood her heart. The end of a beautiful love. Their engagement wasn't just a promise, it was a celebration of the deep bond they had built. On April 24, 1992, David Bowie and Iman had a quiet, intimate wedding at Lausanne City Hall in Switzerland, officially sealing their love. But a moment this grand couldn't end there. A few weeks later, on June 6th, they hosted a lavish wedding in a Tuscan villa in Italy, surrounded by celebrity guests like Yoko Ono and Valentino. The night was pure magic. Teddy Antolin, their longtime friend, recalled, "David was so happy, he never looked better." Bowie, ever the artist, even curated the playlist, mixing dance tracks with his own music, giving the celebration a personal, playful touch. But their love wasn't just about grand gestures. It transformed Bowie. Friends noticed a shift. He quit drinking, became more grounded, and embraced a healthier lifestyle. Bowie later admitted he had to step up his game to impress Iman, a testament to how deeply she inspired him. Their love didn't just complete him, it made him better. If you enjoyed this video, drop a 1 in the comments, and if not, let me know with a 0. I appreciate your feedback. A love that endures. For over 2 decades, David Bowie and Iman built a love that was more than just passion. It was rooted in shared values and deep understanding. When they met, both had experienced marriage and knew exactly what they wanted. Bowie had been a rock legend for decades, and Iman was a fashion icon, but neither was looking for more fame. They craved a connection that went beyond the spotlight. "We knew what we wanted from each other," Iman shared in a 2021 interview. They were both mature, grounded, and ready to live with purpose, not just for themselves, but for each other. Bowie had already lived the high life, but with Iman he found something deeper: stability, love, and a true partner. Their relationship wasn't about grandeur, it was about understanding each other on a level few ever do. Even after Bowie's passing, their love remained unshaken. When asked about remarrying, Iman's response was simple but profound. "He's not my late husband. He's my husband." Their love, built on mutual respect and an unbreakable bond, continues to live on, far beyond time itself. A love beyond fame. From the moment David Bowie met Iman, his feelings were intense and all-consuming. "My attraction to her was immediate," he once shared with Hello magazine. I couldn't sleep from the excitement of our first date. He often called her intolerably sexy, completely captivated by her presence. Iman felt the same. She later told people David was beyond handsome. He oozed charisma. But their chemistry wasn't just about looks. It was about feeling deeply understood and cherished. For Bowie, being with Iman meant true happiness. In interviews, he described feeling blissfully content whenever she was near. Iman, in turn, spoke of the security and love she felt with him, something that went beyond glamour. They weren't just another rock star and model power couple. Their relationship was built on respect, admiration, and a deep emotional connection. Despite their larger-than-life personas, they remained grounded in something real and lasting. While Hollywood relationships often burned fast and faded, Bowie and Iman defied the odds. Their love wasn't about status. It was about genuine partnership, making them one of the most admired couples in both fashion and music history. Love behind closed doors. Throughout their marriage, David Bowie and Iman chose to keep their love private, valuing intimacy over publicity. Iman often spoke about how their relationship was filled with small but meaningful gestures, proof of Bowie's devotion. One early moment stuck with her forever. Within their first week together, Bowie stopped on a busy street to tie her shoelaces. It was a simple act, but for Iman, it spoke volumes. "That is my perfect person," she reflected. Bowie's love was expressed in both quiet moments and grand gestures. Beyond heartfelt actions, he also spoiled Iman with rare gifts, like an exclusive Birkin bag, a symbol of his attentiveness. But despite their wealth and fame, their true happiness was in their private world, not the spotlight. When they settled down, they chose New York City, embracing a life that was grounded and personal, away from the chaos of Hollywood. "David is even more of a homebody than I am," Iman joked. For Iman, loving Bowie meant loving David Jones, the man, not the icon. "I fell in love with David Jones. I did not fall in love with David Bowie," she once said. Their love deepened even more in 2000 when they welcomed their daughter Lexi. Bowie's world shifted. His family became his greatest joy. And Iman's steady presence gave him a sense of balance and purpose. In a world obsessed with fame, they built something far more meaningful, a life where the only thing that truly mattered was each other. A love beyond time. When David Bowie passed away on January 10, 2016, the world lost a legend, but Iman lost her soulmate. The grief was overwhelming. In an interview, she admitted, "People say to me, 'Oh, you're so strong.' I'm not strong. I am just trying to keep it together." In the aftermath, she focused on their daughter, Lexi, helping her navigate the loss of her father. But it wasn't until she spent time at their family home in upstate New York that she truly confronted her own heartbreak. For Iman, Bowie is not gone. "He's not my late husband. He's my husband," she said, expressing how his presence still surrounds her. Even in the smallest moments, like spotting a bluebird on a hike, a reference to Bowie's song Lazarus, she feels him watching over her. "He's hiding in plain sight," she shared, believing that his essence lives on in their memories, his music, and the love they shared. When asked if she would ever remarry, her answer has always been a firm no. Even Lexi once asked, and Iman simply replied, "I still feel married." In a 2021 interview with Harper's Bazaar, she put it plainly, "David is in our hearts and minds on a daily basis." To her, Bowie was a once-in-a-lifetime love, something irreplaceable. Moving on would mean letting go, and for Iman, there's no need. Who is David Bowie? To the world, he was a legend. To Iman, he was everything. Bowie and Iman's greatest joy. Beyond the music, the fame, and Ziggy Stardust, One of David Bowie's proudest roles was being a father. On August 15, 2000, he and Iman welcomed their daughter, Alexandria Lexi Zara Jones. For Bowie, this wasn't just another milestone. It was a long-awaited dream. "It's been a long and patient wait for our baby," he once shared. He and Iman wanted to ensure the perfect time and environment to raise their child, prioritizing family over the chaos of fame. Despite being an iconic power couple, their home life was remarkably normal. Iman described them as just like any other family, filled with music, laughter, and quiet moments together. Bowie played music with Lexi, and Iman worked hard to shield her from the limelight, allowing her to have the childhood she never had. Even with two famous parents, Lexi was raised with a sense of stability and privacy, far removed from the pressures of celebrity life. Though creativity runs in her blood, Lexi has stayed out of the public eye thanks to Iman's guidance. When she turned 18, Iman shared rare photos of her, sparking immediate modeling offers. But she turned them all down. Her message to Lexi was simple: "This can all wait. Have a life that is private while you can, because one day soon, it's going to be public. So enjoy this." Lexi's own path. Though Lexi Jones has stayed out of the public eye, she has carved out a creative identity all her own. Instead of stepping in front of the camera, she has embraced art, sharing her bold, abstract pieces on Instagram. Her work, often featuring vivid colors and unique characters, reflects her deep artistic spirit, a passion that seems to run in the family. Lexi doesn't just create for herself. She prints her designs on clothing and accessories, turning her art into wearable expressions of her creativity. On her website, she describes art as a form of meditation, a space where she can freely express herself away from the pressures of fame. More than just a personal outlet, her work is about inspiring others. Though she keeps her life private, her art is a way to connect with the world, proving that creativity doesn't need a spotlight to make an impact. We truly appreciate you for sticking around and watching our video. Leave a 2 in the comments to let me know you are still here with us. Bowie's other legacy. Did you know David Bowie had a son too? Before his life with Iman, Bowie welcomed his first child, Duncan Zoe Jones, in 1971 with his first wife, Angie Bowie. As a child, he was famously called Zoe Bowie in the press, but as he grew older, he chose to go by Duncan, embracing a more grounded identity. Duncan took an academic path before stepping into filmmaking. He attended a top boarding school in Scotland, studied philosophy in Ohio, and later followed his passion for film at the London International Film School, graduating in 2001. Bowie, always a supportive father, patiently watched as Duncan found his own way. When Duncan finally directed his first movie, Moon, 2009, Bowie couldn't have been prouder. At the Sundance Film Festival, Duncan recalled, "He's been waiting for me to get off my A and do what I'm going to do with my life." Moon became a critical hit, even winning a BAFTA award. From there, Duncan carved out his own name in sci-fi and fantasy, directing films like Source Code, 2011, and Warcraft, 2016. Though Bowie always waited until Duncan's films were complete to watch them, their bond remained strong through weekly Skype calls and visits, discussing life, art, and creativity, a testament to the deep connection between father and son. Duncan's family life. Alongside his successful film career, Duncan Jones built a beautiful family with his wife, photographer Rodine Ronquillo. Their journey wasn't without challenges. Shortly after their engagement, Rodine was diagnosed with breast cancer. But with strength and resilience, she underwent treatment, and the couple officially married in 2012. Despite the hardships, their love flourished, and they welcomed 2 children. Their son, Stenton David Jones, was born just 6 months after Bowie's passing, a touching tribute to his legendary grandfather. A few years later, their family grew again with the arrival of their daughter, Zoe Tallulah Jones. Though Duncan has followed a different path than his father, family remains at the heart of his world, just as it did for Bowie. Lexi's tribute to Bowie. Lexi Jones has kept her father's legacy close to her heart. On the anniversary of David Bowie's passing in 2018, she honored him with a crescent moon tattoo featuring the words Daddy XCX alongside his birth and death years, 1947-2016. It was a deeply personal tribute, a way to carry his memory with her always. In January 2023, she marked another anniversary by sharing a childhood video of herself playing the keyboard with Bowie, along with a heartfelt photo of them together under an umbrella. She simply captioned it, 7 years ago today. I miss you. The post reflected the unbreakable bond between father and daughter, a connection that remains even in his absence. Beyond visual art, music has also become part of Lexi's identity. In 2021, she shared a clip of herself singing an original song, admitting her nerves about posting it. I keep going back and forth between hating it and liking it, but it, she wrote, calling it a drunken, rough take. Just like Bowie, music seems to be her way of processing emotions, a form of self-expression that runs deep in the family. Iman's eternal love. Since David Bowie's passing in 2016, Iman has continued to honor his memory and presence in deeply touching ways. She refuses to call him her late husband, instead stating firmly, "He is my husband. He's ever present with me." For Iman, their love never faded. It remains a constant source of strength, shaping her life in ways that only a once-in-a-lifetime love can. She feels Bowie all around her, especially in their home, where the sunset views serve as a beautiful reminder of the moments they once shared. Bowie loved watching the sunset. And now, when she sees it, she feels his presence lingering in the colors of the sky. Since his passing, she has also worn a necklace with his name, a gift from designer Hedi Slimani, which has become a daily symbol of their unbreakable bond. With time, Iman's grief has evolved, not into loss, but into gratitude. The memories are now of how great it was, she shared, focusing on the beauty of their years together rather than the sorrow of his absence. Through her love, her words, and her quiet tributes, Bowie's legacy remains alive, proving that true love never really says goodbye. A legacy that lives on. Even in David Bowie's absence, his spirit continues to shape the world, through his music, his family, and the love he left behind. For Iman, his presence is felt in the smallest moments, whether it's a familiar song playing unexpectedly or the way the sunset paints the sky in hues Bowie once admired. But beyond these personal tributes, Bowie's legacy remains woven into the fabric of pop culture, inspiring new generations of artists, musicians, and dreamers. Bowie's influence extends far beyond his own era. His music still tops charts, his iconic looks continue to inspire fashion, and his fearless creativity sets the standard for reinvention. Even in 2022, he was named the best-selling vinyl artist of the 21st century, proving that his artistry remains as relevant as ever. His impact can be seen in the work of countless musicians who credit him as a visionary, from pop stars to rock legends who cite him as a guiding influence in their careers. But perhaps Bowie's greatest legacy lies in the family he built. Lexi continues to carve out her own creative path, Duncan carries forward his cinematic storytelling, and Iman keeps his memory alive with love and grace. While the world will always remember Bowie for his music, style, and innovation, those closest to him will forever cherish the man behind the legend, a devoted husband, a loving father, and a soul who never stopped inspiring. How do you see David Bowie's legacy living on through his family and fans today? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you love stories like this, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.